I want to close out this series on prayer with the kind of prayer that, in my opinion, is probably the most important out of all of them, and I've touched on it before. It is the prayer of thanksgiving. If you read the New Testament carefully, you will see that thanksgiving shows up all the time. In fact, almost every letter Paul wrote begins with thanksgiving. His instructions on prayer keep returning to thanksgiving. Philippians 4 verse 6 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God." And notice the order here: prayer, supplication, with thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is not the final afterthought. It is woven through the asking itself. You bring God what you need with thanksgiving. And I want to be honest, this is the kind of prayer that I have struggled with the most. And it's not because I'm ungrateful. I think most of us believe that we are grateful. But grateful as a feeling and thanksgiving as a practice are two totally different things. Feeling grateful happens when something good happens to you. Practicing thanksgiving happens when you choose to name God's goodness, whether the circumstances support it or not. And Pastor Rick Warren teaches something that has really stuck with me. He talks about thanking God for what he has not yet done. It's faith in advance thanksgiving. Thanking God for the breakthrough before you see it. Thanking him for the healing before it arrives. Thanking him for the answer while you are still in the waiting. And that is not naive. That is called faith. It is saying that I trust you enough, God, to be grateful before I see the outcomes. Because your goodness is not contingent on my circumstances. Your faithfulness is not contingent on what I can see right now. And I'll tell you honestly, this kind of prayer has changed me. Because when you start to practice thanksgiving as a discipline, your view of God shifts. It changes. You stop seeing him as someone who has not done enough. And you start seeing him as someone who has done more than you could have ever asked for. Even in seasons that did not feel like blessing, especially in those seasons. Because looking back, I can see what God was doing in me during the hardest stretch of my life. I couldn't see it then very clearly, but I can see it now. And thanksgiving trains your eyes to see what God is doing, even in real time, even before the resolutions come. So if you have struggled with anxiety in prayer, try thanksgiving. Not as denial of the hard things, but as recognition that the hard things are not the whole picture. God is at work. He is faithful. He has been faithful before. He will be faithful again. And that is reason enough to be grateful today, before you see the outcome. Because he is worthy of thanksgiving either way.